That it?
It didn't let you?
Then it goes to that.
Oh, weird. Let me see. Yeah, that's me. That's weird. Is this your own playlist?
Yeah.
That's weird.
No wonder. See, I've always been able to do it like that. For a year, I've been stuck listening to the same order of songs, and I don't want to. And I even got on the desktop and tried to do it. Man, you know what it is? I'm just gonna have to hire someone who DJs for me when I work out. Hey, that's when you know this docuseries made it. When I've got a DJ in here who's playing my music in the order I want.
Is your Spotify up to date?
Today's yeah, it's up to date. Today's dedicated to Jerry. Jerry, we're gonna lift to some country today. Yeah. I got you, Jerry. I got you today.
Don't worry, Jerry.
Yeah.
I cut around you last time on purpose.
Yeah. Oh, Jerry, we're gonna get you in there. I'm not mixing today because I cracked open my LMNT and we were listening to the podcast. I mean, we were doing the podcast and I cracked one of these. So today we're doing the Keon pills. I actually like the pills better, even though the mango thing was really good. I just do good taking pills. I'm better with that. I think 7 was the recommended dose. Hope that's right. You know, I can't wait for this episode to hurry up and air because this is probably the number one question we're getting like crazy is the EAAs, like crazy. Everybody wants to know what's going on. So, not gonna lie too, I'm actually super excited and interested because I'm tracking so diligently to implement something new that I wasn't a believer in before and see if I notice like better change or faster change. Okay, you know that Justin's working on it in the studio when there's random bolts and screws just laying around on the floor. It's probably something really important. Some shit's gonna fall apart. He's trying to figure out the TV over there. Yeah, well, guess what? So we're that's right, I'll talk about it on here. So we're tracking now. So I'll catch you up to today right now. I use the Fat Secret app. Just I've trained myself to always use that app. So whatever, if you use MyFitnessPal or whatever, doesn't matter. Again, like many things you'll hear me continually say with body fat testing, with the apps, with what did I just recently do a test on? What did I just do I did something recently and everyone's asked, well, how accurate is that? It's like, none of that. Oh, I'm going to use my 8 sleep for the tracking my sleep. Like, as long as you're consistent with using something like this, it's just a tool to give you better insight on what's going on. If I can find my Fat Secret in here. So this week, okay, we begin tracking. Now, when I track, this is not, I'm trying to really do anything other than what I've said since the beginning, which is I'm trying to eat protein-centric meals, right? So every time I eat a high-protein meal, but I'm not actually tracking. Now I am. And so I'm going to eat when I'm hungry, make sure it's a protein meal, and then we're going to see where we land. The guys asked me on the show today, here's Fat Secret. So the guys asked me on the show today, like where I think I'm going to be. My guesstimation, we'll see. I always like to see if how close I am. My guesstimation is somewhere around 2,500 calories a day, probably under eating protein, landing somewhere around 150 grams. And then fats and carbs I don't really care because that fluctuates. But the main things I care about is kind of where calories are and then where my grams of protein are, just for now. So, my diary. So here's what we had so far. So for breakfast, Jesus, Adam. There we go. So 4 scrambled eggs, 4 slices of bacon, 2 pieces of sourdough toast, and some butter. About 730 calories. And then I just had one of those little Okios, or however the hell you pronounce that. They're like these little drinks. It's a brand of Greek yogurt I always eat. Jerry brought it to me. It had 23 grams of protein for only 140 calories. So since I had just ate a couple hours ago, I wasn't hungry. I thought I'd try that. I'd drink it. So we're sitting at right now, it's almost 2 o'clock. Only 870 calories, 54 grams of carbs, 45 grams of fat, 62 of protein. So here's something that's really interesting, or what might be interesting to people, is as I catch some rhythm and we start eating better and I start to peer into the nutrition, from the past, I've already like honed in on like, where I want to be calorie wise and carb wise. I know that if I can get 2 to 3 good meals in and about 150 grams of carbs before I work out, I have the most awesome pumps and workouts. I'm not somebody like Sal who can lift first thing in the morning and be fast. I mean, I can, but I don't have good workouts. I've found that I've figured out mathematically like, if I hit these targets, my body's filled up and ready to go, and I have the best workout. So there'll be something we'll notice as I start tracking and paying more attention to that stuff. So today, we are following Max 15 now, pretty close to a T, although I'm gonna modify something today. So today calls for deadlifts and bicep curls. What I'm going to do is I'm actually gonna do chest supported rows for my back, and I'm still gonna deadlift, but I'm gonna go really light. And again, this is just because I'm kind of nursing the pec, and without getting into crazy detail, I know that if I go to deadlift, I can deadlift pretty good weight, and I just don't wanna risk that with my pec quite yet until it's gotten acclimated to lighter weight. And I still wanna get my back kind of good. I've been touching the back quite a bit, and I hope I'm gonna get some pretty good rows right here. This will probably be the first time I challenge weight, I would say. And we'll do the rows, we'll do light deadlifts, and then we'll do some bicep curls, and then we're gonna call it a wrap. So that's what's up. Oh, there's my drink, I just saw it. Let me get my water over there real quick. Because we are deadlifting, I am gonna start with some 90-90s and do some mobility. Well, my hips are tight from doing that windmill yesterday. Definitely feel it in my QL. Feel it in my piriformis. Definitely want to open these hips up. I can definitely tell there's a discrepancy from the right and left. My good friend, Dr. Brink, my mobility specialist, saw me do the windmills, and I got myself a nice long text message this morning, breaking me down. Thank you, Dr. Brink. Very aware where I'm at right now. Thank you. No, really, I actually appreciate, especially a professional eye like that, just confirming what I kind of know I need to be doing already, which is opening up these hips some more. You know, my T-spine rotation in the windmills that I posted on Instagram, it got compliments, looks good, but my hip, you'll see the way I was bending my knees, you can tell I'm lacking good hip mobility, and it's coming from the right side. So this right, and I can tell it's confirmed when I get down in this 90-90, there's discrepancy from left to right. The right side is definitely less mobile than the other side, right? And why this is so important is that, especially something like a base like my hips, if one side is lacking the mobility, strength, and stability in comparison to the other side, anything that I do related to my hips, deadlifts, squats, lunges, there's gonna be a discrepancy with how my muscles are firing from left to right. And we're in the game of symmetry and staying balanced and also avoiding any sort of injuries or aches and pains. And so when you feel that, it's just make a note that you're gonna want to try and catch that up. Let's stretch that QL real nice. And that performance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so much more mobility on that side. right. Normally I row these good 50s, 60s. Let's start with 45 just to fill it out real quick. All right. So again, slight modification here. Some chest supported rows. Again, I just called for deadlifts today and bicep curls. We're gonna throw these rows in and then we'll do some light deadlifts.
Girl, I'm a witness of your love. You don't be giving up, and it's crazy.
Oh yeah, this is light.
How you save me. Hand on the Bible, don't know how I got you, but I couldn't ask for more. Girl, what we got's worth thanking God. Thank God. Thank God.
All right. Those are pretty light. We did 13 of those. Could have done a little bit more reps, but I want to go up in weight. I want to challenge a little bit of weight here. We'll go to 55 next. We need to switch this up a little bit. We need a little more. I'm all good for country, but a little too Cane Brown. I don't know. No, that's better. Starting to feel good. Oh, I feel good. Oh. That's the first thing I lifted that's actually felt heavy, but felt good. Trying to avoid the camera there. Make sure you get Katrina. Are you gonna work out while you're here? Huh? You don't have to work out on camera. We'll make sure to get her. Oh yeah. First taste of a little bit of a pump. First time I weighed today since I started. About right where I expected. I was 199 when we started. We're officially a week in. I avoided the scale for the most part. Didn't really want it to influence my decisions, but I still want to check in periodically. That was 203.2 I think this morning. So, 4 pounds, which is just water and glycogen, I'd like to think I built 4 pounds of muscle this week, but that ain't happening. So, which is expected, right? Bumped up my calories, bumped up my food, eating protein, drinking a lot more water now too. So I'll probably, if I had to guess this week I'll probably hover around the same weight, maybe a pound more. Let's go. Let's go. That's gonna be a dangerous spot for that. All right. Some light deadlifts. I'll set it up right here. These 45s are ginormous. So the only thing, Dylan, do I mess you up if I roll in the middle of the floor?
No, you'll be all right.
All right. And the reason why is I want the mirrors, especially for this. I want to see my mechanics for sure. Yeah, and I just want to be able to see the mirror. All right, so like squats, 135 is really light for me, although this is even lighter for deadlift. I'm a much better deadlifter than I am a squatter. My max squat's in like the 400s, and I've pulled as high as 550 before, so I'm definitely a better deadlifter. So this is probably a little bit more appropriate than the squatting, and I feel a lot better. But we're gonna stay here. Stay here weight-wise, real slow control technique. So I want to see the mirror for this so I can see my form. And we'll see how I feel. Oh. I love to roll that bar out so I can feel my lats get activated. Real close to the shins. Take the slack out. Hamstrings tight, hips tight. Ooh, that felt good. It felt light. That feels really good. And it feels really light, but we're gonna stay there. You know, it's funny, every time I fall off and then I get back in it, there's this psychological part where you're telling yourself, there's no way I've got the time to work out. And I mean, as far as like what's going on within our business, our home life, behind the scenes stuff that's personal, I don't even share on here. This is probably one of the worst times to commit to something like this. But I remember telling Katrina right before we got started, I said, you know what though? Shame on me, because every time I'm in a rhythm where I'm training consistently, hard, good, I'm on it, it's almost like you gain 4 hours in the day. It's wild. I'm twice as productive. I get so much more done both at the home life and work, but it's that initial committing to it and getting going. And then once I do, it's almost like the 24-hour day turns into a 28-hour day. It's wild. But I get it, because before, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're so tapped, feel like you're not spending very much time with the family or doing these other things, or parts of the business are suffering. And so you think, how could I possibly be training every day? But it never fails. It doesn't matter how long I've been doing this too, I keep learning that lesson. I'm also just a better person and human when I'm working out. So it's interesting. The deadlift weight feels really light, but as far as my hips and my back, but my forearms, especially after doing heavier rows and then doing the deadlifts, my forearms will be the limiting factor. And so, you know, that still plays a role in like deciding how much weight I would do. Like this in the past, where I've had injuries deadlifting, it's from not listening to that or paying attention to that, right? Seeing that there's a breakdown in the secondary muscles and still pushing the weight, because my hips and my back are like, yeah, I got this is light. But my forearms are screaming, going, ooh, we can hardly hold on to this for 10 reps. And so I got to catch that up, you know? Now, granted, typically when I deadlift, it's the first exercise I do. So I'm not doing myself any favors by doing the rows. But like the theme here is this has been more about rehabbing first. I know I can build muscle at the same time. So even though I'm probably sacrificing a little bit of weight that I could be pushing had I done the deadlift first, it's okay. Haven't done any deadlifting forever, so that'll be fine. And I care more about hitting those rows, getting myself in a better posture, so it takes a priority. How many guys does it take to set up a TV? Huh? I tell you what though, forearms already giving out from the rows and the deadlifts. Watch how weak my bicep curls will be. Maybe we'll do something different because of that. Maybe I'll do like spider curls or something. Okay, last side of these. Stuff at 9 reps. Felt those forearms. All right. So some bicep curls. We'll call it a wrap. I'm either gonna do dumbbell spider curls or I'm gonna do camber curls. It really doesn't matter what I do. I like the idea of spider curls just because it doesn't take very lightweight. I do spider curls really lightweight, and my forearm's already pumped. So we'll do that. So I'm gonna use the incline bench, still on the same one I use for the rows, and we're gonna do spider dumbbell curls. You want me to move the bench anywhere special?
Maybe just like slightly more to the left so it's directly underneath that light. Are you gonna face towards the mirror?
That's how I was gonna face.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Just wanna double check.
Even though we're not here yet with like advice on bicep curls and how to change up exercises, or how do I choose that, right? So when choosing any bicep or tricep exercise, one of the most important things is elbow positioning. So the first thing we did, the first time we did curls, we did our elbows by our side. So now, and all this does is it changes the strength curve, right? So when you're all the way down here, there's no tension on the bicep. They're at rest. Where I'm gonna flip over backwards on this, and we're gonna do bicep curls out in front of us, spider curls. Now what's cool about that is when they're hanging down like that, there's constant tension. Plus, when we're doing them normal and I'm here, I can hold this all day because it's underneath the elbow, shoulders taking the weight, so there's not very much tension on the bicep. Well, when you're leaned over on the spider curls and you curl at the top, there's still a ton of tension on the bicep. As we rotate through bicep exercises, one of the thought processes is knowing that, oh, I just did last time a bicep curl standard with my elbows by my side. Now I'm gonna do one where they're out in front of me, right? So we're gonna do the spider curls now. And then we'll start with some real lightweight, like 20 pounds. We're gonna lay here. And when I curl at the top right here, there's incredible tension on the bicep versus when I'm sitting down. So it's just a great exercise to manipulate the strength curve. So I'll try and keep you guys updated too to like how I feel in the workouts. This is the first workout where I feel like, ooh, okay, we got a little feel good sweat, feeling a little bit of a pump going. We're feeling good. Don't feel great. Haven't felt like I've really challenged myself weight-wise yet, but we're inching our way up. I think after this week, next week I won't be feeling myself. I'm gonna do one more set. Even though those 20s felt light, I'm afraid of muscle fatigue, so I might fatigue on this one. Cut that a little short. Fatigue definitely set in. Again, we could have pumped more. Could have started swinging my arms. Could have got to 15 reps easy, but cut it at 12. Get one more round of that, and there's no need to go up in weight. All right. Last one, then we call it a day, D. Last one. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. You cut that way short right there. Sometimes I'll do that on the last set or the last rep. I know I'm done and I don't want to swing anymore, so I'll just get a isometric hold, keeping the hands even. And what this just helps me do is it helps to keep my right and left the same, right? We have a tendency to know that you can get a few more out, and I would have either rocked, and actually normally what happens is one side rocks, the side that's weaker, the left side ends up still being perfect, or whichever side it is for you. So as soon as I feel one of those sides starting to really fatigue like I did, I'll just bring it up to right before I feel the form breakdown, just hold, get a nice isometric hold for a second, then call it a set. That's it. Muscle's done. That's a wrap, son. There it is. The road to getting jacked again. About to be on when I start getting my rhythm. Please don't be an asshole. Re-rack your weights. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Actually having a MAPS 15 protocol that I'm following, even though I'm kind of tweaking. It's funny how I don't normally do that, right? I normally just go 100% how I feel. It does keep my programming more organized, and I can tell already that it'll probably even improve my results, you know? And of course I should know better. But just that accountability piece of keeping me organized of order of operation and what I've done last. So I tell you that program is so underrated, man. I think so many people think that it's not for them because they think it's some beginner bullshit program, but I'm about to show you all how jacked I get just doing 2 exercises a day. Doesn't take much when they apply it correctly. So we meal prepped yesterday. And right now, even though we're meal prepping, I'm not weighing yet. I'm like eyeballing food. So I cooked 2 of the family pack chicken thighs. Just some Montreal steak and chicken seasoning are my favorite seasoning. It's pretty basic, but it tastes really good. Barbecued up a few pounds, probably 4 pounds or more of chicken thighs. And then, even though I'm not measuring, probably about a cup or so of white rice. It had greens for dinner, but I don't like pre-making greens because they taste like shit when you reheat them up. So, I'll just pay attention to that. If I'm low on greens, I'll just probably supplement with green juice. But when I'm home, I'll make that. But right now, we're just gonna track all this week, just kind of see where we're landing. After that week, we'll assess it. One of the things that we're working on right now for everybody, because I don't blame if you don't want to sit around and watch me for 20 to 30 minutes every single day. I think Ann and some of the team are gonna take a lot of the takeaways or the points that maybe I make throughout the workout from the week, and then email like a PDF form for free to everybody that's following along. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably drive you guys to a specific email, so the people on that list will just be getting all this content, that in case you guys miss what's going on or want to refer back to. So our team's working on that too. So hopefully you all appreciate that. Sounds like that's something that everybody wants.